Okay. Okay.
That would be great.
Okay. Just started that. Easy to do in Zoom. And it's for like an informal but call setup, but we're welcome to jump into a coaching context as well if that's what you're game for.
Oh, I'm game. Yeah, yeah. I
All
can get
right.
right into processing. If you got something in mind, let's try it out.
All right. Well, again, just for like as a meta context for us chatting.
Okay.
In
Yeah.
addition to like I get to meet you and say hi
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
vice versa.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, okay, so mood. Like first like I noticed like that when someone asks you that question, like there's a string of English words or these syllables come out of their mouth,
Hmm.
suddenly you have a negative reaction.
Hmm.
Like,
Immediately,
grr.
Michael. Yeah.
Like that's just like the intent of like, oh, that's interesting. I don't have a translation for what that means or what to do about it, but like, huh.
Hmm.
Like other people will have totally different reactions. They'll think about it, they'll answer, they might swipe it aside or they might interpret it different ways. But for
Hmm.
you it's like there's something just personal, like it's rubbing against something that's sensitive in you.
Yeah.
Just that question, independent of
Yeah.
where it comes from, I could critique what they're trying to do, but I'm interested, like there's some sensitive spot on you where that question is particularly triggering.
Well, and I think that because the answer is no. Like the deep down answer is no, I'm not fucking okay. I'm in madness, and going on to rant about my day, whatever that might be, first world problems or whatever I'm going through. But yeah, I think I grew up I'm 47, born in 74, so a kid through the 80s, first job at McDonald's, played sports and found that hiding in sports, because I was very tall at about grade 9, kept me safe. So this is what I've been learning about my journey, is that, I hid within toxic masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really lead toxic masculine kind of rituals, but I sure as hell made sure I was somehow
Yeah,
camouflaged by looking like I was participating or something.
like it's easy, it's in a way it's sort of like part of the privilege, it's easy to hide within
It
toxic
is.
masculinity.
It is. Yeah.
Like
You know what?
like apparently, like I mean, no one's attacking me for being here, so I'm just going to hang out here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's totally safe. And especially because I'm starting to realize that I have probably what would be described as feminine traits, more from like a patriarchal point of view. Uh, uh, I like teaching. I love coaching. I like having conversations. I like helping people. I like. I want to serve and do my best. And so some of me thinks that it it feels as though I've just wired. I've just created a story or something for those scenarios.
Mhm.
Um, and I think as a 80s kid, latchkey, parents divorced when I was 7. So there was a lot of single parenting time where, you had to come home and be alone a long time and, and be okay. This is the thing. It's like, I go back to my childhood. I'm like, yeah, there were so many times where I had to be okay,
Mhm.
even though I was crapping myself inside. Like, the key's going to
Yeah.
be under the rug, okay? And then I go in and what do I do? And oh my gosh, and mom's single mom in it and working, so it's like hell yeah, I'll be okay. There's that kind of
Yeah. So is that like the vulnerable layer deep down underneath this, where like there's actually this old feeling of not okay, but then there's the layers on top of that to protect yourself from feeling that, from
yeah,
going there.
yeah. It definitely feels like something tender,
Mhm.
and that's what makes it. That's what has made um my kind of performer, energetic, outgoing side extremely frustrated, because
Mhm.
it it can't do anything. It kind of is chasing its own tail, trying to
Mhm.
take signals or avoid signals from the boy, the tenderness within.
Mhm.
Um,
It's like building a skyscraper on top of a marsh.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And especially when some of those questions get asked, like it's so funny. It's like you could ask me any other yes no question besides
Mhm.
are you okay? You know, are you green? Are you blue? And yeah, to have the same response we're having now, but
Mhm.
it's uh, it's
Yeah. Like some people might have the same reaction to being asked what their dietary preferences are. Like, do you eat meat? Arr.
yeah, 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 yeah,
It's like, oh God, how like anger or shame. Like
yeah,
we can be triggered about anything.
yeah.
And one of the like insights that I've had about this over the last couple of years is a respect for how real it feels.
Okay.
Like when you have that reaction, when someone asks you that question, you have this experience.
Hmm.
Um, how real the experience is that you're thrust into there. Like the neurochemistry is going. There's some like the dialogue.
Hmm.
It's strong. So a respect for that,
Mm.
respect for like how strong an experience is, and the Jedi skill here is respect for how strong the experience is, while also knowing that it's made up.
Yeah. That ability to just step out, man, that's evil. It's just pure evil because it's like, it's like, what? Like I can, there's that moment when I can actually just kind of pause things. And I'm trying to, this is what I've been working on is, yeah, absolutely. Build those synapse connections to when these moments up. Ground yourself, and that's why I've been in this course actually, Michael. That's through our one of our hospital organizations up here, and it's for anxiety and depression. Let me read you the name of the course. It's the Unified Protocol for Trans Diagnostic Treatment of Emotional Disorders.
Ooh, that's just way too much. That's like Freud. We're gonna give you a talking cure because you're broken.
Oh man, I'm getting a lot out of it because it's psychoeducation.
Okay.
Which if you're like me, I love psychoeducation because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, smart goals and learning about your emotions and mapping them out and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And there is like it's one of these steps, like that movement from I'm a victim of my reactivity
Hmm.
to like, oh, I can do things about this.
Hmm.
Like I can do steps to calm down my nervous system, to go in more into parasympathetic grounding, breathing, mantras, just like whatever works.
Yeah.
So that's one evolutionary step where it moves from like the world happens to me to actually, oh, there are skills,
Mm.
there are things I can try. Um, so that's somewhat actually, I mean, that's hugely helpful
Hmm.
compared to the world of just destroyed.
Yeah. And I think you're helping me to see um, is that I also, when you say that, it's like I also have this little pushback. I'm like, but wait a sec, I do want to honor who I am, and the part of me that, dare I say, gets moody in certain situations. And I mean, like, I'm big, I'm 6'7". Right now I'm 275 pounds. And yeah, I guess I need to try and have these sort of, like, it's difficult to say, oh, I'm a little bit moody right now, family, like, or but I think there's some acknowledging too, like what you say, there are those things that I can do in the moment, which I have been studying through this course and grounding, and it works great. And then feeling the viscera.
Mhm.
I'm a big person where I get in my gut. I get like right here. I'm sweating because I was out chopping wood, but I'll get a viscera right here, and
Mhm.
it'll go like this, and it could be hot or sharp or whatnot. It could be a range of sort of fear-based situations.
Mhm.
But I think
Yeah.
there is some acknowledging because I've put myself knowingly, consensually, in a very egalitarian relationship.
Mhm.
I've been married for 10 years. I've got 3 beautiful kids, and there's so much communication going on in my house,
Mm.
that it really, it drives me bonkers. And you know what? Dave Buddha said something to me kind of off the cuff one time. And he said, or maybe it wasn't to me, maybe it was within the Better Brother Foundation. They're sort of, he had an organized
Heard of
set of
that group.
videos. I was
Yeah.
watching them. Anywhere, somewhere, Dave Buddha said that women take up a lot of emotional space.
Mhm.
And that can be in, and I understood that to be in my house. You know, I've got my wife, I've got Elizabeth, my 11-year-old female, I've got Madeline, my 8-year-old female, and I got James bringing up the back at kindergarten, the other bit of testosterone in the house.
Mhm.
And so I'm in a highly communicative, emoting
Mhm.
household all the time. And yeah, I think I get moody. I don't, does
Yeah.
that sound like, I don't know.
Well,
I'm,
it reminds me of like the women's issue of where like in corporate and power structures where the men are taking up more space.
mhm.
But you can also see it as they're repressing themselves from taking up space, in addition to there being cultural forces.
Just a sec now. Yeah, so women in the work, in the sort of boardroom situation, are repressing themselves.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's like both inside and outside, but like it's internalized depression. Like we live in a culture where emotionally the men are oppressed internally and externally.
Yes. Okay.
Like you hold back being emotional, you hold back taking up emotional space.
Oh, absolutely. I haven't cried for years, and my whole family's just like, my one middle daughter will attack me to try and get me to cry because they
Hmm.
want to see my emotions, and it's really tough, you know. And yet that's what they all want. They all want they all want
Yeah.
me to be this emotional, I call it this emotional lesbian, you know, because
Hmm.
I just, the young immature male part to me just push back on it, because we're like, fuck man, like we're working hard here, you know.
Yeah. So if you allowed that to come out,
Mhm.
uh, what's some of the resistance that starts popping up, just like at that notion?
Well, you know, I think it depends on, if on how I let it out. If I can go into kind of a caricature, a performance voice, which I do around the house a lot to entertain and just pass the time,
Mhm.
accents, whatever, with the kids and my wife, that's easier. It's like an artistic channel. It's safer and more comfortable. But trying to
Mhm.
kind of process it intellectually and linearly is so fucking hard that
Well, yeah, I
I
would recommend trying to process emotions logically and linearly.
he's like, okay, you wonder why you're losing it, buddy. Well, don't do
Like,
that.
like, wait a second. Like, so, like, how do we perfectly engineer how to like work through our emotions?
Yeah.
What's the
Oh man.
step-by-step guide for feeling?
Oh, I tell you, Michael, it's what I do. And then I get locked up. I'm like cutting my carrots for dinner. I'm getting my deal, and this happens, and I'm just like,
Hmm.
fuck. Like, of course, I don't do that. I don't emote like that. I'm doing that with you now because we're two adults in an adult context. But
Hmm.
you know, I suppress it down, and I'm kind of like, okay, you know. And someone will say like, "Dad sounds like he's getting a tone," and you know, and then
Hmm.
maybe that's when I need to kind of try to almost act it out operatically.
Hmm.
You know, I teach my kids to try to manipulate using alchemy and artistic things when they're angry, to try taking on a persona that they feel comfortable with, the evil character from the cartoon or something, as a means
Hmm.
to let out their frustration instead of beating the snot out of each other or me.
Hmm.
Um,
One of the oh, yeah, fuck.
go ahead, I'm finished. I thought.
one of the cool things I'm hearing is that it sounds like almost everyone is on board with you feeling more.
Everyone except little Jamie, I think.
So how's little Jamie doing right now?
Well, he's with you, and I know you're safe. Like, I know you are a safe human. I just bank on it. Of
Cool.
Facebook people and Facebook world, I
Mhm.
have a lot of conviction that if I ever bumped into you, I would know what to expect.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Cool.
But maybe that's part of your kind of shtick. I don't know, right? That can be the interesting thing with getting to know people.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to do anything surprising or cruel with little Jamie.
Thanks, brother.
Mhm. Yeah. So just tapping into that right now, since we've got a good this container.
Yeah. Do you want to take the lead and try something out, or are you feeling good with how we're going?
Yeah, I'm feeling good with how we're going, and like want to sort of zoom in and just connect with a little Jamie.
Mm.
Like allow him to feel me here with him.
Man, back in the day, I would have loved to have had a Michael.
Hmm.
Absolutely, brother. You know,
Mhm.
yeah. My mom went on a man-hating tear after the divorce because my dad had cheated on her, rightfully so, for a couple of years. So it
Mhm.
was masculinity wasn't highly thought of.
Mhm.
um, and that's where
Yeah.
little Jamie kind of lived around, you know.
Yeah. So little Jamie actually gets to connect with that now. And it's
Mm.
kind of timeless because little Jamie is still there, still back there.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's still the world for him.
Mm-hmm.
And here's this other kind of masculinity,
Mm.
something new, more whole, more refreshing.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I'm just closing my eyes just so I can focus on your words, and
Hmm.
I'm not tired at all or whatever. I just want to kind of, when you're going in
Yeah.
this kind of
Like
state, I want to join
feeling
you.
it, yeah, like letting that be felt.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So what's it like for little Jamie, like right now? Let's see. What's he doing right now?
He's back at the old family house and doing a really enjoyable activity, which is when all the family we would clear the property of bushes and brambles and have a big bonfire.
Hmm.
And this is a fond memory when my parents were together that I've just discovered recently,
Hmm.
and it fuels my passion. I'm sweating now. I was just out chopping wood for fun and clearing my front yard right now.
Hmm.
So little
Yeah.
Jamie's in a very connected place. He went from, experiencing something that is a fond connection to jumping onto this call, which is so fabulous. I really am grateful. And little Jamie's like, thank you, Michael. Thank you.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. And something I want little Jamie to hear,
Mm,
like that it's like, yeah, your mother's really hurt, uh, but it's not has like that has nothing to do with you.
mm,
Like you haven't done anything wrong.
mm,
You're totally okay.
mm,
And there's this beautiful arising of masculinity within you, which is still growing and arising. And it's innately wise and good. Right? You can trust yourself. Like that's underneath all this. That's underneath all the painful feelings. It's underneath all the strategies. There's a solid ground.
Mm.
And that's who you are, is that solid ground. And you can feel as much as you want or repress as much as you want. You can do whatever you want. Anything can happen. And this ground cannot be harmed.
Nice, it's there.
Mm. And this ground is wise. Sometimes it's difficult to spot or hear, but it's always there. Like this ground is here for little Jamie.
Mm. Michael, you and little Jamie have bonded, brother.
Nice.
Oh, it feels good. When you're saying that, my mind's going around a bit, but it really sunk in nicely. And I was back on the property when I was growing up as a kid, and that good, that memory I have. And I grew up in West Van, so it's not out of the ordinary people walking by and different people. And we had a property that went around the border of a road, and so we were always down there working on it, and it was safe. It was a cul-de-sac, but people walking by or going for walks or stuff was just totally normal and happened all the time. So in my memory, no one would have noticed if Michael slipped into that memory and hang out on the property, and we had a chat just briefly, and as everyone's working and stuff. And I'm going to hold that dear because I've never or I haven't recently had someone say those kind of words to me, and it really means a lot to me. I really appreciate that, Michael.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. How are you feeling towards little Jamie right now?
I'm feeling him more, and dedicating some thought, some intentional thought like this in a safe space, man. It's like that's one thing I'm good at. When I know I have rapport with somebody, I'm like, okay, boom, it's good. Let's rock and roll. Because
Nice.
that's as you know, when someone can feel safe, there's going to be a little more learning there. And yeah, I haven't had the chance to get out and do that kind of men's work that I want to, which is this. It's just these little bits. Hearing these few little words, has a really deep impact. And I will. I think part of me was like, I don't know how. I know the cleaning of the front yard is nice because it's giving me this ritual, and so this ties in nicely to the ritual.
Mm-hmm.
the experience. So I'm going to try and get out of homework. Do you give out homework?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. No, I appreciate, I really appreciate that. I'd like to hear how you're doing, like with everything. If you want, if you want to keep going, I can keep going, but I am valued top, cup full.
Yeah, like there might be a sometimes heard referred to as the cheesecake moment. Like
Yeah,
you're so full that you can't actually have more.
yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if there's like at least like a parting pointer. Um, yeah, like one of the things I want to stress, and this is going to be like where the ways that I point are going to be different from the ways that most people in psychological and transformational worlds point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that it's not so much about you changing your behaviors or even just like the energetic lineup.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like emoting more seems to be a general goal here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I'm also like layering in here, it's even okay if you don't do that.
Mm.
It's even okay if you maintain the configuration, even if you continue to get pissed off whenever someone asks you that question. Like continue to just sort of have like the little behaviors where your family can tell that you're slightly aggravated, but you're not going to go into
Mm-hmm.
the emotional.
Mm-hmm.
That it's okay to be that way as well. Like it's okay to be caught up in your feelings and your thinking,
Mm.
because underneath all that, because most work is like trying, they view that as broken,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, something's wrong because you're not fully in touch with your feelings and expression, and you'd be happier and healthier and such if you were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, it's, you probably would be like happier and healthier, but you're still okay.
Mm.
Like, you can get kind of obsessed about trying to perfect everything about yourself.
Yeah, that's one thing. And I've been on the growth path continuously for a while. So I am coming up and do need for a break once hopefully uh, I can kind of shift down a gear, because I have been on the growth path for quite some time. So that's absolutely true, and I really like that you said, and made sure you included that even not doing is still
Yeah,
okay, because
yeah. And it's not stopping yourself from doing, but it's also not making yourself do it.
yeah.
Because like underneath the emotion, like that ground, that wisdom that I was pointing towards,
Mm,
it's how healing works.
mm-hmm,
Healing is just getting out of the way so that stuff can happen.
mm-hmm.
It's recognizing that you have like tensed fists and you don't really need to.
Yes, yes, yes. That's good. Wow, you just got me right into my body right there with that. I was like, wow, yeah, that's true. It's just because sometimes you had that feeling, and you're like, wait a second. Yeah, there's no need for that right now.
Yeah, it's like you're bracing for impact, just kind of like like the shame, like the, the physicality of shame,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like you're not about to be hit by anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just for like it's a habit, and it's becomes problematic because it's so autopilot, and you've been doing it so for so long, and you've built so many other habits on top of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you always have like a nervous tick when something happens, it's, and then that's built on top of by other things,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it'd be rather confusing to stop doing it. But
Mm-hmm.
there's sort of a house of cards that starts falling away when you watch yourself. Like just awareness is often enough for everything to change. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm tensing up, I don't need to. Interesting. Okay, whatever. You just go on,
Mm-hmm.
and suddenly you're more relaxed, and you might spontaneously have your like experience feeling more emotions. And okay, I guess this is what's happening next.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's less of a achieving healing or achieving growth or transformation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's more, yeah, it can be more just kind of, it feels to me, if what you're saying is correct, it's like just kind of the ability to just kind of look at yourself and be aware of it. And there's really no, well, there's great power in that, I would guess, but at the same time, it's not the sort of, oh, I'm going to go do reps. Although my style of coaching is like little Jamie's got some emoting reps to do. That's my preference
Hmm.
for coaching. So I really, that's a great piece of wisdom that you put in there about the not needing to do, and the sometimes the broken perfect dichotomy, or whatever it is. It's it can really it can really trap you, or trap me into that type of thinking. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That feels very almost the most grounding piece of it. That's the Michael grounding piece right there.
Hmm.
And hopefully I'm saying that because I like to put little mnemonic traces in to prime my brain, because my automatic system will remind me. I don't know if you do that, but I like to do that, kind of like vocabulary learning basically. But it's like, say some phrases. And so like, I'm hoping next time I'm cooking dinner, I'm going to say, I'm going to start talking about, I'll talk about it. And I'll say, Michael's here. Yeah, what did he say? Oh, yeah, it's not, just kind of stand. And maybe I'll just stand in the kitchen. Even if I can get a millisecond, what it's like, even if you can get a millisecond of a pause or a gap, you've conquered the big beast, because you can see
Hmm.
you can see something. You get that little glimpse of awareness, and you're like, holy fucking shit. I mean, no one's right behind me about to hit me. It's just my daughter talking about creamy or macaroni. you know
It's like, yeah, she's like, why does a creamier macaroni strike the fear of death into my system? And the thing is, like, that's what actually happens in our physiology.
Mhm.
Like, that's why people are more afraid of public speaking than death. Like, it becomes obviously not rational in some cases, like that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And yesterday in my course, I do this really complex course every Thursday for 90 minutes in Zoom. And yesterday we were practicing exposure therapy to our anxiety like feelings. And so mine's spinning. I hate spinning. I hate dizziness.
Hmm.
So I'm not good with all the amusement rides, except like I can do coasters and stuff, but I can't do like really twirly things. So
Hmm.
they like, this group is a very structured like hospital group. Like, it's also a suicide intervention group. So it's like two facilitators for 10 people. You can't turn your screen off, or they call you, and like there's a protocol, and then 911, and then the ambulance is coming. So it's a very strict group.
Wow.
But as you know, when you build the right container, you can
Hmm.
you can try some different things. And so we're all trying these. Like, some people were hyperventilating themselves, and I was standing up and twirling around until I got nauseous. Like, nauseous to about a 7. They say, don't push yourself too hard.
Hmm.
And it was really interesting. I've never done that kind of growth work where or at least in that context, where I'm facing something really, really yucky. Um,
Yeah. Like, there's a value in it in that you get to, like, actually experience the thing that you're terrified of
yeah.
and realize that you're not dead.
Yeah.
So the brain starts to rewire. Like, whenever the brain sort of like finally observes, like, wait a second, this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
Like, I'm supposed to be dead when this happens, and it's happening, and I'm okay. And
Yeah.
sometimes there's the reverse, like the opposite. I remember, like, experiences of like me getting angry and then like all of the women wanting to talk to me. I'm like, what? And the brain then rewires and you start integrating stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why, like, exposure therapy can work quite well for solving phobias and such.
Mm, yeah.
It's like, how about this? How about this? And like, you're still okay.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, that's great. Listen, Michael, I've taken up so much of your time, and I just want to say how much I appreciate it. How are you doing during the pandemic and stuff? Are you just rolling along? Have you hit any bumps?
I adapted quite well. I was a little worried for the first like month and a half
Mhm.
because had a bunch of clients who were supposed to renew or who were currently about to hire me, who then paused, but they ended up just signing up later in 2020.
Mhm.
So it ended up being totally fine.
Nice.
And I'm an introvert, and I moved from San Francisco to Oakland, so I'm
Mhm.
in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Got kittens, so
Oh,
it's dream
nice.
life. Like I have kittens, have like pretty much a full slate for coaching.
Yeah.
So I sit back and I read and make coffee, and I'm now like around more nature. I'm 15 minutes away from the redwoods,
Oh, wow, man. That
so I'm
sounds
pretty much rocking the whole pandemic thing. Like
nice.
part of me kind of like doesn't want this to end, though I do also really miss like going to some trainings and festivals in person.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Well, that's great. I'm so happy to hear that. That sounds really nice.
Hmm.
A nice little pivot. Nice. That's the word I hear a lot these days. Pivoting.
Yeah, lots of people learned the word pivot over the last year.
Or jump ship.
Yeah, somewhere around 11 months ago, everyone knew what pivot meant.
I learned it in basketball growing up, I got to say.
Uh,
But well, thank you, and thanks. I feel bad about taking up your time. It's a
no
Friday,
worries.
and
This is how I work. I just like go help lots of people, and I have a blast doing it.
oh well, man, it's been really great. It exceeded my expectations, yet not, because I I don't. I'm choosy about who I will devote my time to, and open up, right? Because as you know, it can be a challenging thing. And I really appreciate you recording this. And I just want to give you my consent, because you're giving me all this value. If you want to use this video in any way means for your whatever advertising stuff, you have my total permission if anything comes of it, just in case.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Not that it's not that's great, but I got my green screen set up. So, I'm slowly working towards doing stuff with my wife and her company and my business, my coaching, but it's
Nice.
slow, and it's like I got to get my house in order. It's like, I'm like, I can't go out being super coach Jamie if my house is just an absolute shitstorm. It's like you just can't do that these days. It doesn't fly anymore. You gotta be kind of, I feel you gotta be dedicated, through and through. You gotta and enjoy it. It's like, look at you. Look at your setup, man.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
looks like it's
Thank you.
awesome. Yeah, it's
I had the
awesome.
benefit also of moving in July, knowing
Whoa.
that like setting up the office, being very Zoom conscious.
Ah, okay.
So I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
it's like I like spent a couple of days like, okay, I'm gonna put the computer here and what's
Yeah.
going to be in the background, and I like the
Yeah.
screens.
Oh, nice. Well, that's great.
Hmm.
And what things do you have coming up? Do you have any group stuff or drop-in stuff, or how do you do your coaching? Like,
I
because I'm going to
primarily
talk,
do.
I'll talk about you now. I've experienced the full Michael. This is fabulous. I think it's wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, like primarily I just do one-on-one coaching, so it's like by referral.
Oh, okay. Well, there we
And
go.
yeah, I'll occasionally do group programs. Like I've done 2 rounds of the Masterpiece Days program,
Hmm.
but I don't have. It's like I haven't quite decided on that. Like yeah, there's more work to do because
Okay.
I need to develop more of an audience in order to fill group programs.
Okay.
So there's like a couple of steps. My actually current project is I'm starting to work on a podcast.
Oh, nice. Lovely.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be really good, I'm sure. I like the sound of your voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. I found it really, really soothing, and authentic. So if I want to tell someone about you, what like do you do? Like, do you require like a package, or do you kind of how do you like to do it through referral? Because you can kind of jump you can kind of jump the big funnel thing if you're doing referral, because if I send you someone, they're going to know what to expect, which is
Hmm.
what I know about you and after experience you, which is fabulous. So what should I tell them?
Um, Oh, first of all, if you're referring someone, you can both share your experience of me. And
Okay.
actually, like, you'll have this video. You can even like show them this video.
Okay.
And you can share with them why you think it'd be a good idea for them to have a conversation with me.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot of people where like you think that they should coach with me or that they need help.
Yeah.
It needs to be like, you need to be like really see it. It's like I imagine you talking to Michael, either like this would happen or like something would happen, something magical.
Yes.
Because like, no one wants coaching, but
Yes.
people want help, and this is often help in a form where they don't even know that this kind of help is available.
Exactly. There, and trust me, they all want to feel like I feel right now,
Yeah.
which is a little bit lighter. Um, I feel genuinely like a notch up happier, and a little more connected to myself and the stuff we did. So
Mhm.
okay, that's good. What about ballpark range, like pricing? Like what do you like to kind of?
Well, initially it's free because I do free initial conversations
Okay,
or like gifted conversations.
okay, so this is a gifted one because this is an hour, and I bet you don't
Hmm.
gift 1 hours all the time.
Actually, I do.
Do you?
Like, that's standard practice for my business. That's one of the reasons that I'm prosperous,
Oh wow,
because I go around impacting people. Like, for example, the way that I'm impacting you, and you might refer
absolutely.
people and they might become clients.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, trust me, I'll
It's a
bring I'll
really
bring
fast way to build a business.
Okay, yeah, because I can't really coach right now.
Mm.
Like I can't do my usual shtick, and and
Right. You still might be able to support the people that you're still a couple steps ahead of along any line.
oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I never thought of that.
Because you don't need to have everything together. Like, I don't have everything together.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but you're ahead of a lot of other people in a lot of dimensions.
Hmm. I never thought about that, man. I got to write that down somewhere. Michael, 350. What can I do for you, man? Is there my my wife has a sex education company, so if you ever have any questions, let me know,
Awesome.
and I can put you right through to her if you're more comfortable talking to a female than someone like myself who would just sort of shuttle the questions back and forth.
Tempting, though. Things are like great in that area, for except for lack of a partner at the moment.
Oh, nice. Well, that's good.
Hmm.
And hopefully you'll see stuff coming from my wife and I in the next, I don't know, maybe towards the end of the summer, maybe by the fall.
Hmm.
We're digging ourselves out of, like I said, me off of work, and so I'm just trying to heal. And so I'm doing some courses, doing a men's self care, like kind of conversation group for an hour.
Hmm.
And of course, this one this week with you at the end of the week is super nice. And I wish I could afford to have you on salary for every Friday at 3 o'clock and have this done every Friday, because my life would be incredibly better. But
Yeah. Well, if you actually, you realizing now that you actually can support people,
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's huge.
it might be a lot easier than you think.
I gotta breathe. I gotta take a couple breaths with that one, man. See, I knew you'd have these things. I knew you'd have these subtle little things, and that's why I was staying away from you.
It's like, how much transformation can you handle?
Yeah, I know, right? One more. Man, this has been. My wife went to get her nails done. I went to get the Michael tune-up, man.
Hmm.
Michael, I'm gonna send people your way. I don't know when, but
Awesome.
trust me, it'll happen, because it
Awesome. I'd
it
love
was
that.
it
And
was
I'll
just
make sure to treat them well.
beautiful, beautiful, buddy. I'm gonna let you go now, and if again, feel free. Thank you for copying the video, and if I can get a copy, great. And of course,
Hmm.
I'll be sure to share my experience, because that's what I'm doing right now. It's part of being on this journey I'm on, is sharing my experience. And definitely, I'm always big smashes to people that help me out. And so you've really helped me out. And so I will always remember this. In fact, believe it or not, you know, because as you know, the powerful sessions we do, until we're fully integrated, and then we don't, or that pieces, right? But, it's great, man. I really appreciate it from here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
it's a privilege to work with you.
Thanks, Michael. All right.
You're welcome. All right. Let me know how like things just like flow from this as well. Keep me up to date.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I'll in our little Facebook chat, I'll leave you some little diary notes of how little Jamie and Michael move forward together in the dimensions in the world, because yeah, it's great. All right, my brother.
Cool. All right.
Thank you again so much. Have a great Friday with your kitty cats and your place and nature. We're going to try and get out to nature this weekend too. My wife has been just,
and there's a lot of beautiful nature. Like Vancouver is beautiful. So
yeah, there's lots of good stuff. I'll send you a picture wherever we go.
Cool.
All right, buddy. All right.
I'll see you later.
Thank you again, Michael. Be well, and of course, if I can be of any service, let me know.
Okay, will do. Alrighty.